Hello, class. Welcome back to this week's filmmaking lesson. Yeah, you had a good summer vacation, but was being attacked by hyenas by Scar. But now they put into the zoo because Simba was a true student, and a true student is now and Simba and Kiara. Alright, so in this sponsor video, it means that no one has a sponsor video like this time. Okay, so anyway, let's look up on home video releases first. Okay? So you go to 2019 in home video, and you go to a website called Wikipedia, and let's take a look. Let's take a look at something on August where you left off. So on Monday, well today's Wednesday, right? Okay, on today we're gonna do Descendants 3 2019 film. Here's a plot in this film. Mal, Evie, Jay, and Carlos visit the Isle of the Lost to choose their new villains kids, VKs, to take to Arden. They pick Dizzy, daughter of Drizella and granddaughter of Lady Tremaine, Celia, daughter of Dr. Facilier, and Squeaky and Squirmy, the twin sons of Mrs. Smee. The day the kids are to be picked up, Ben, Mal's boyfriend and the king of Arden, proposes to her. She accepts. Ben's ex-girlfriend, Audrey, sees this with jealousy, and her grandmother, Leah, admonishes her for failing to secure the family legacy by marrying Ben. When the barrier is opened for the new VKs, Hades, the god of the underworld, attempts to escape, but Mal beats him back in her dragon form. That night, unable to contain her jealousy of Mal, Audrey steals the queen's crown and Maleficent's scepter from the Arden Museum. The theft and Hades' escape attempt has the citizens panicking. Mal, as future queen, decides the best way to protect the subjects and restore peace is to close the barrier permanently, meaning no new VKs can come, nor can anyone enter the Isle. Audrey attacks Mal with Maleficent's scepter, turning her into an old hag. Mal and the other VKs go to the Isle to get Hades, Ember, the only thing powerful enough to break the scepter's curse, though Mal is restored upon entering the Isle. Due to the suppression of evil magic there, Celia gets Mal into Hades' lair, but he thwarts their effort to steal the Ember. He is revealed to be Mal's absentee father and reluctantly gives her the Ember, warning her that it mustn't get wet or will not exhibit its full powers for her. While leaving the Isle, Mal and the others are stopped by Uma, Gil, and Harry, who take the Ember. They agree to help after Mal agrees to release all the children from the Isle. In Arden, Audrey attacks Jane's birthday party with a sleeping curse. Chad obsequiously aligns himself with Audrey, while Jane escapes into a tinted lake. As the entire kingdom falls under Audrey's spell, she offers to reverse it if Ben will marry her. He refuses, so she turns him into a beast and begins turning people to stone. Mal and Uma, vying for leadership of the VKs, return to Arden with their friends. Despite their bickering, they defeat suits of armor abandoned by Audrey. Uma finds Audrey's diary and learns she spends time at Fairy Cottage, a contribution for which Mal thanks her. Evie, nervous to define her feelings for Doug, wakes him with true love's kiss. Carlos calms Ben in beast form until Jane restores him with lake water. As Mal and Uma are thawing towards each other, Audrey traps them in Nevi's house. They reverse Audrey's spell by combating the magic, and the kids reunite her there. At Fairy Cottage, the kids find only a shell-shocked Chad when Mal admits that she plans to seal off the Isle permanently. The group implodes and Celia, learning she can never see her father again, throws the amber in a bird bath and Uma and Harry leave. After Abby tells Mal how upset she is for lying to her and their friends, they are all suddenly turned into stone. Minus Mal, Audrey takes Celia hostage and attacks Mel, who turns her into her dragon form, realizing she is Mal's only hope. Uma combines their magic to reignite the ember. Mal overcomes Audrey, who falls comatose, and curses are lifted. The ember could revive Audrey, but only in Hades' hands. Ben agrees to send for him, while Uma, Harry, Gil, and Celia plan to return to the Isle. Mal apologizes for lying. Her friends and her former rivals forgive her as they understood that she was trying to do the right thing. Hades arrives and revives Audrey, but decries the double standard by which Audrey is immediately forgiven because she is not considered a villain. Mal and Ben apologize to Audrey in response. Audrey and Leah apologize to Mal. Mal announces that she cannot be the Queen of Arden unless she can also be the Queen of the Isle, because everyone is capable of being good and bad. With Ben and the Fairy Godmother's agreement, Mal removes the barrier and creates a bridge, and the people of the newly merged society celebrate. In addition, Jane and Carlos become official, Mal and Ben are engaged, and Audrey has eyes for Harry after Uma rejects him. In the mid-credits scene, Mal, Evie, Jay, and Carlos are seen looking at the Isle of the Lost, then racing across the bridge to their parents. Alright, so on tomorrow we're gonna do Avengers Endgame 2019 film. It's about Pixar and Disney Studios have been working on Avengers Infinity War in the past few years. And now this Avengers Endgame, the continuation of Infinity War. Here's the plot in this film. 23 days after Thanos used the Infinity Gauntlet to disintegrate half of all life in the universe, Carol Danvers rescues Tony Stark and Nebula from deep space and returns them to Earth, where they reunite with the remaining Avengers, Bruce Banner, Steve Rogers, Thor with Natasha Romanoff and James Rhodes, and Rocket. Locating Thanos on an otherwise uninhabited planet, they plan to retake the used Infinity Stones to reverse the snap, but Thanos reveals he destroyed the stones to prevent their further use. Enraged, Thor decapitates Thanos. 5 years later, Scott Lang escapes from the quantum realm. At the Avengers compound, he explains to Romanoff and Rogers that he experienced only 5 hours while trapped, theorizing the quantum realm could allow time travel. The three ask Stark to help them retrieve the stones from the past to reverse Thanos' actions in the present. Stark refuses, thinking of his wife, Pepper Potts, and daughter, Morgan, but relents after looking at a picture of himself and the late Peter Parker. Stark and Banner, who has since merged his intelligence with the Hulk strength, build a time machine. Banner notes changing the past does not affect their present. Any changes instead create branched alternating realities. He and Rocket visit the Asgardian refugees' new home in Norway, New Asgard, to recruit Thor, now overweight and drinking heavily, despondent over his failure to stop Thanos. In Tokyo, Romanoff recruits Clint Barton, now a vigilante, subsequent to the disintegration of his family. Banner, Lang, Rogers, and Stark travel to New York City in 2012. Banner visits the Sanctum Sanctorum and convinces the Ancient One to give him the Time Stone. At Stark Tower, Rogers retrieves the Mind Stone, but Stark and Lang's attempt to steal the Space Stone fails, allowing 2012 Loki to escape with it. Rogers and Stark travel to SHIELD headquarters in 1970, where Stark obtains an earlier version of the Space Stone and encounters his father, Howard, while Rogers steals Pym particles from Hank Pym to return to the present. Meanwhile, Rocket and Thor travel to Asgard in 2013, extracting the Reality Stone from Jane Foster and retrieving Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. Nebula and Rhodes travel to Morag in 2014 and steal the Power Stone before Peter Quill can. Rhodes returns to the present with the Power Stone, but Nebula becomes incapacitated when her cybernetic implants link with those of her past self. Through this connection, 2014 Thanos learns of his future success and the Avengers attempts to undo it. He captures Nebula and sends 2014 Nebula to the present in the former's place. Barton and Romanoff travel to Vormir in 2014, where the Soul Stone's keeper, the Red Skull, reveals it can only be acquired by sacrificing someone they love. Romanoff sacrifices herself, allowing Barton to obtain the Soul Stone. Reuniting in the present, the Avengers place the stones into a Stark-created gauntlet, which Banner and the most resistant to the stones, gamma radiation, uses to reverse disintegration. Meanwhile, Tesla 14 Nebula uses the time machine to transport Tesla 14 Thanos and his warship to the present, where he attacks the Avengers compound. Planning to destroy and rebuild the universe with the stones, Nebula convinces Tesla 14 Gamora to betray Thanos but fails to convince the Tesla 14 Nebula and is forced to kill her. Stark, Thor, and Mjolnir, wielding Rogers, fight Thanos but are outmatched. Thanos summons his army from his warship to devastate Earth, but a restored Stephen Strange arrives with other sorcerers, the restored Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, the Ravagers, and the armies of Wakanda and Asgard to fight Thanos and his army. Alongside Danvers, who destroys Thanos' warship as she arrives. After overpowering the heroes, Thanos seizes the gauntlet, but Stark steals the stones back and uses them to disintegrate Thanos and his army at the cost of his life. Following Stark's funeral, Thor appoints Valkyrie as the new ruler of New Asgard and joins the Guardians of the Galaxy. Rogers returns the Infinity Stones and Mjolnir to their original timelines and remains in the past to live with Peggy Carter. In the present, another Rogers passes his shield and mantle on to Sam Wilson. Okay. So on Friday, we're going to do Iron Man 2008 film. Here's the plot in this film. Tony Stark, who has inherited the defense contractor Stark Industries and from his father, is in war-torn Afghanistan with his friend and military liaison, Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes. To demonstrate the new Jericho missile, after the demonstration, the convoy is ambushed and Stark is critically wounded by the missile used by attackers. One of his company's own, he is captured and imprisoned in a cave by a terrorist group called the Ten Rings. Yinsen, a fellow captive doctor, implants an electromagnet into Stark's chest to keep the shrapnel shards that wounded him from reaching his heart and killing him. Ten Rings leader Raza offers Stark for freedom in exchange for building a Jericho missile for the group, but Tony and Yinsen know that Raza will not keep his word. Stark and Yinsen secretly build a small, powerful electric generator called an arc reactor to power Stark's electromagnet and a prototype suit of powered armor to aid in their escape. Although they keep the suit hidden almost to completion, the Ten Rings discover their hostages' intentions and attack the workshop. Yinsen sacrifices himself to divert them while the suit is completed. The armored Stark battles his way out of the cave to find the dying Yinsen, then burns the Ten Rings' weapons in anger and flies away. Crashing in the desert and destroying the suit, after being rescued by Rhodes, Stark returns home and announces that his company will cease manufacturing weapons. Obadiah Stane, his father's old partner and the company's manager, advises Stark that this may ruin Stark Industries and his father's legacy. In his home workshop, Stark builds a sleeker, more powerful version of his improvised armor suit, as well as a more powerful arc reactor for his chest. Personal assistant Pepper Potts places the original reactor inside a small glass showcase, though Stane requests details. Suspicious, Stark decides to keep his work to himself. At a charity event held by Stark Industries, reporter Christine Everhart informs Stark that his company weapons were recently delivered to the Ten Rings and are being used to attack Yinsen's home village. Gomira, Stark dons his new armor and flies to Afghanistan, where he saves the villagers. While flying home, Stark is attacked by two fighter jets. He reveals his secret identity to Rhodes over the phone in an attempt to end the attack. Meanwhile, the Ten Rings gather the pieces of Stark's prototype suit and meet with Stane, who has been trafficking arms to criminals worldwide and has staged a coup to replace Stark as Stark Industries CEO by hiring the Ten Rings to kill him. He subdues Raza and has the rest of the group killed. Stane has a massive new suit reverse-engineered from the wreckage. Seeking to track his company's illegal shipments, Stark sends Potts to hack into its database. She discovers that Stane hired the Ten Rings to kill Stark. With the group reengaged, Potts meets with Agent Phil Coulson of SHIELD, an intelligence agency, to inform him of Stane's activities. Stane's scientists cannot duplicate Stark's miniaturized arc reactor, so Stane ambushes Stark at his home and takes the one of his chest. Stark manages to get to his original reactor to replace it. Potts and several SHIELD agents attempt to arrest Stane, but he dons his suit and attacks them. Stark fights Stane, but is outmatched without his new reactor to run his suit at a full capacity. The fight carries Stark and Stane to the top of the Stark Industries building, and Stark instructs Potts to overload the large arc reactor powering the building. This unleashes a massive electrical surge that causes Stane and his armor to fall into an exploding reactor, killing him. The next day, at a press conference, Stark defies suggestions from SHIELD and publicly admits to being Iron Man. In a post-credit scene, SHIELD director Nick Fury visits Stark at home, telling him that Iron Man is not the only superhero in the world, and explaining that he wants to discuss the Avengers Initiative. Alright, that's all the home video releases we got. So, second, we're going to do MM Monkey Pictures and Roman Camp Productions and Donkey Teeth Company shorts. It is about back to school 2019, where the elephant used to go back to school after his summer vacation, and the elephant attempts to do his worksheet, and now his worksheet is never done. So the teacher's named Giraffe, and he tells him that the only worksheet that he got is out of 0. Alright, so that's all the shorts we got. So third, we're going to do Samsung Galaxy Note 10 series. So it's a new phone. I got this at the store, so you might use it until you have until you have a decision on December to bring him back to me when you're done, okay? So on this note 10, you can do whatever you want, like you can do hitting stuff and anything you want. But it all begins when the fast food orders take place, and Hibiki Sakura goes to the shop where they sell home speakers, and she looks at it, and it costs 100 yen. So the arm wrestling has begun, and Sei Sakura tells about how arm wrestling was being broken off during 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 her fight of her life, and during arm wrestling, and now the arm broken was really heartbroken. Alright, that's all I got for today. Let's do some work now.